Any of us has foil in the kitchen, and very many of us have ever tried to cook food in foil, and it must be said very convenient. Foil does not leak, very well keeps heat, saves time, effort, and the food turns out tender, delicious and juicy. But recently people are increasingly starting to give up on foil, and many nutritionists do not recommend using foil in cooking. But what is the problem? And the thing is, before we did not think about that, but today we know that the use of foil can be dangerous to your health, and in this video we will analyze in detail what specific effects foil can have on our body, and what you need to know, so watch the video until the end. It will be very interesting and informative. Here we go. So, the most common food foil consists mostly of aluminum in it. Oddly enough, aluminum is up to 99%. But no manufacturer has not yet written on the packaging of the foil that it can cause bone disease, kidney disease, and even cancer. The fact is that this very same aluminum is extremely toxic to our body, and if you use foil when cooking, then of course look no further. This information is important. So, aluminum used to be very commonly used even in the production of cookware. There were aluminum cups, spoons, aluminum pots. Today it is highly discouraged to use aluminum cookware. The only option when you can use an aluminum pan or spoon is if it is the very pan has a non-aluminum coating, that is, that the aluminum is not in direct contact with the food. The fact is that aluminum is a very soft metal and it is very easy to remove, and literally scraped off the walls of the pan. Or aluminum spoon, if we lick it, eat with it. So we eat a very large amount of aluminum, but on the other hand the pot has a mitigating circumstance. Once we have poured water into it and boiled it, a certain protective layer is formed on the surface of that aluminum pot, and it will act as a fuse, reducing the amount of aluminum that we'll get from the pot into our food. But when we talk about foil, it does not have this advantage. The fact is that the foil is disposable. We wrapped it, and after that we threw it away. No inert protective layer of course, and will not, but when heated, that is, when heated, aluminum begins to penetrate very actively into our food. Even a group of scientists from Antoku University conducted a research. They cooked meat in aluminum foil and found that meat cooked in aluminum foil after cooking increases the aluminum content to 378%, that is several times. So you can clearly say that the aluminum foil should never be exposed to heat treatment of food, although it is convenient, but it definitely should not cook in it, and in foil is not recommended to wrap just cooked, still hot food. In this sense it is much safer to use foil to store cold food. For example, we took a sandwich wrapped in foil and put it in the fridge. Here when there is no heat treatment and aluminum in the food gets much less, and it is already relatively safe, although here too there are studies which suggest that if we wrap food in foil and keep it at a cold temperature for too long, then the aluminum particles again begin to penetrate into the food. So the only safe option for using foil is to wrap cold food and not for very long periods of time. Another point worth mentioning is lemon, and lemon, in turn, is the bitter enemy of foil. It is well known that lemon is one of the most acidic fruits. The pH of lemon is about 1.5. It is very sour product, and as we often do, take for example fish, put it in foil, and pour lemon, and then put it all in the oven. So the interaction with citric acid aluminum from foil begins to penetrate into our food even more actively. In addition to lemon, there are other acidic foods that contribute to this process, such as tomatoes, which have quite a lot of tannic acid. Tomatoes are also quite acidic vegetables. This would also include for example cabbage, especially sour cabbage, sour cream, cucumbers, and it also helps in salt. Well, then you will ask a legitimate question. Well, maybe a little bit is still not terrible? Maybe sometimes it is not so critical? Indeed, studies have shown that our body is able to eliminate some doses of aluminum and not get intoxication, and experts have even determined a safe daily dose. It is about 1 milligram of aluminum per kilogram of our body weight. That is, for example, we weigh 70 kilograms, so we can consume up to 70 milligrams of aluminum per day, and it will be relatively safe. But in practice, if we cooked food in aluminum, these standards will be exceeded. So essentially, the only safe option is to use aluminum only if we wrap cold food, and in no case hot food. Okay, now the most important question, and what actually happens to us if we actively cook in foil and exceed the daily dose of aluminum? What are the health effects? First of all, one of the most important effects is the effect of aluminum on our nervous system. It is well known that aluminum is very neurotoxic, that is harmful to nerve cells. In these cases will significantly increase the risk of nervous system diseases. In particular, people with Alzheimer's disease were found to have elevated levels of aluminum in the body. And by the way,
Alzheimer's is a very serious disease that affects many people with age, and in several European countries where
they have already learned how to effectively treat cardiovascular disease, and even cancer. Alzheimer's is the third leading cause of death. Because there is no cure for Alzheimer's today, the next negative effect of aluminum on the body is its effect on the kidneys, so it can cause serious diseases. It is kidney failure. In addition to this, it will affect our gastrointestinal tract. We can get abdominal pain. In addition, excessive aluminum negatively affects the composition of our blood, disrupts calcium and phosphorus metabolism in our bodies, which leads to serious problems with the health of our bones, and aluminum also has a very negative impact on women's health.
Well, now the most important question you certainly want to know. Well, let's say I refuse foil, but what then cook?
In fact, healthy and normal alternative is, you can use special baking paper, or even as they call it, food parchment. This thing is also convenient, practical, food does not stick, retains its properties, and do it is certainly just necessary. Next measure: if you have aluminum cookware on which there is no coating, but pure aluminum, then do not use such utensils. As well as never buy ready and uncooked food that are packed in aluminum containers. You can often see it on the shelves of stores.
By the way, friends, and write in the comments, and you use foil? Or maybe abandoned it and can advise some alternatives. It would be interesting to hear from you.